trends in real time. At Qualcomm, our 5G leadership is transforming industries, creating jobs, and helping to usher in $13.2 trillion in economic value. The invention age is here, and it's about to change everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Qualcomm CEO Steve Mollenkopf.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's great to be here. We were hoping to be somewhere else, but we're here, actually. It's great to be home to talk about some of the great things today. It's going to be an exciting day. And but first, before we start, I do want to say that we have a lot of thoughts and best wishes for everybody who really is impacted by this unprecedented situation with the coronavirus, especially our employees, our suppliers, their families, and of course all of our friends in China and now increasingly worldwide. So despite the challenges, though, I do think the main message for us is the industry keeps moving. There's a lot to celebrate. There's a lot to talk about. You're going to get that today, I think, in a big way. So one of the great things about having the opportunity to do it at home is we get to include a lot of the people from Qualcomm, the engineers who actually make all this possible. So thanks, everybody, for showing up. Yep. It's more than just a free T-shirt and a bunch of donuts, I'm sure, that got you here. It's going to be worth the time. But first, let's just remind everybody kind of what is Qualcomm. We are the world's leading technology innovator for wireless. And we earned the position, $61 billion in R&D. We started 35 years ago. We've worked on every major change in the industry and really led that path. And there's nothing more significant than the path to 5G, which we'll talk about a lot today. And you continue to see more and more of the important product roadmaps and partners that really make it happen. So it's a great joy for us to have the opportunity to do that today. And with 5G, it's really about the superior network, and it disrupts everything, not just another update of phones. It is, in fact, another update of phones, but it's much more than that. It's actually disrupting every industry that you can think about, from healthcare to energy distribution to retail to the factory to every major large industry will be disrupted by 5G. And quite frankly, it's probably the biggest opportunity that we have seen for the wireless industry and for Qualcomm in the 35 years that we've been in existence. Now, to put that in perspective, how big of an opportunity is it? According to IHS, it's actually $13.2 trillion just in the year of 2035 are their estimates. That's up by $1 trillion in just 2 years, the estimates. That's a tremendous impact to the world economy that not only is impacted by 5G, but actually is started by all the hard work that a lot of the people in this room do. So there's a lot to be proud of in that number, but also a lot of expectations and a lot of work to get that out in place and to make that true. So the future really is wireless. If you think about the opportunity for 5G, it's not just the impact that we have to wireless, but it's really the change in the way the future of the internet works. 5G is about all this smart things happening at the edge. It's about the smartphone changing. It's about intelligence moving closer to where the data is. And it's really the beginning of a multi-decade opportunity for Qualcomm and the global economy. So it's my pleasure to actually introduce someone who's going to spend a lot of time today talking to you about that. That's our president and good friend, Cristiano Amon. He's going to talk about that and include a lot of our great partners. So please help me welcome Cristiano to the stage.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you. Good morning, Qualcomm. This is very exciting, I think, time for us. As Steve said, there's many things happening in the industry. Also, very exciting to be able to do this in San Diego. First time we're doing this, America's finest city, San Diego, so very happy to do this. So, welcome to our press event. Before we begin, I want to echo Steve's comments about the current situation, and our thoughts and prayers are with everyone that have been, in a difficult spot during the coronavirus situation. We're going to get through this together, especially our many friends and partners in China, our employees in China. Stay strong, this will pass. And having said that, we appreciate everything and that you have been doing for the industry, especially our partners in China, and we're going to show some of that work, today as we talk about some great devices. We have a lot of exciting announcements for you today. And we're going to talk about the overall state of 5G, what is happened in 2019, what is coming in 2020, and how we continue to evolve this great technology that is going to impact so many industries and actually transform not only how we do, everything connected with the cloud and our mobile devices, but also is going to transform the future networks and the future of the internet. We have great partners and industry leaders with us today, companies from Ericsson, Samsung, Facebook, Microsoft, Rakuten. So with that, let's get started. Qualcomm is the undisputed leader in 5G, but that is the result of more than 2 decades developing fundamental inventions and technology that are at the basis of the 5G. And the reason we are a leader is because we have this belief that not one company can do everything. It's really about partner and collaborating with other industry leaders, as you're going to see today, as we can build an ecosystem. We have been developing breakthrough technologies in connectivity and computing and RF to fuel the 5G commercialization. And with that process, we also have the world's best, most valuable patent portfolio and licensing business with over 8 5G license agreements to date. And that is a story of a company which is very focused about sharing technology and building an ecosystem so the entire industry can benefit from technology transitions such as 5G. And where we are right now is it's a great accomplishment in 19 as we end the decade and go into our next decade. It's incredible. There are 50 operators now with commercial service deployed, 345 operators in the process of building a 5G network. And we're on track to get 1 billion 5G connections by 2023, which is going to be 2 years faster than what it took 4G to get to 1 billion connections. And 2 years after that, about 30% of the entire mobile industry, close to 3 billion connections will be with 5G technology. But that's just the beginning, because 5G is beyond the telecommunication and the phone industry, and it's going to change. The automotive industry is going to change, manufacturing is going to change, the future of the workplace and productivity. We'll talk about that today. And there's many more opportunities for us to see billions of devices connected with 5G. And our job is to be focused of driving 5G to a scale, across all regions and all price points. And with that, I would like to start the conversation telling you what to look for in 2020. So there's a number of new technologies coming with 5G. We said that before. We've been saying that since the decision to accelerate 5G by 1 year back in 2017. 5G is about a technology roadmap that will enable a host of new services and applications. And it's not static, it's very dynamic. So we saw a lot of technology development to get us to started with 5G. In 2019, towards the second half, we started to see a bunch of new features and capabilities. And in 20, we'll see that trend to continue. It's about continue to fuel the technology roadmap that will enable all those services and new industries. And this year of 2020, we should see significant millimeter wave expansion, not only to different markets, but also across more frequency spectrum. We also going to see the low band be converted into 5G. We started to see that right now on the FDD spectrum, in addition to TDD spectrum. That is going to happen below 800 megahertz. And in the rest of the 4G spectrum that are being utilized today, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the transition of 4G spectrum to 5G. Dynamic spectrum sharing is going to get scale, allowing operators to basically upgrade their existing 4G network to 5G. And spectrum aggregation will deliver real 5G performance in the 4G spectrum. Standalone mode will cause an upgrade of the 5G cores. With that, we're going to see much faster networks and enable the development of private 5G use cases. And then lastly, the transition to network virtualization, which is a big promise of 5G that will meet 5G network needs with an open, scalable, and cloud-native RAN architecture. So we have all of this happening this year of 2020. And that's what's exciting about this industry. The amount of collective R&D of Qualcomm and our partners will continue to drive this technology forward and is moving faster than what we saw with 4G. And the great thing about all of those lists of new technologies that are going to come to market in 2020, we're very proud to be a part of the world's first implementation or trial or demonstration that it speaks to our commitment to R&D, to our commitment to leadership, and to our commitment to our partners. And this is, again, an example that not one company can do everything and be a leader of 5G. The ecosystem of Qualcomm and our many partners are leading 5G today, being the first to deploy many of those new technologies. And as we think about breaking new barriers, and how we're going to continue to improve the performance of 5G, what I'd like to do is to show you a video from Thomas Noreen, the 5G commercialization leader within Ericsson, that will tell you about the technologies that we're implementing together.
I'm Thomas Norén. I'm head of 5G commercialization at Ericsson. Qualcomm is a great partner to Ericsson. We are very proud to power your campus and your labs with 5G. Most recently, we did a fantastic demo, 4.3 gigabit per second over 800 megahertz in 2 different millimeter wave bands, a great achievement. We are also bringing 5G to lower bands, to lower FDD bands, to enable build-outs. We do that with Ericsson spectrum sharing, where Ericsson and Qualcomm has taken the lead. We've already achieved 90% population coverage with Swisscom by reusing an existing 4G band. Going forward, we're going to take 5G further. We're going to bring in standalone mode. We're going to bring it to more FDD bands. We're going to do carrier aggregation. And we're going to bring it to new use cases, industrial use cases, and others beyond mobile broadband. A better 5G in a better way.
You know, that's really great. I think this is a story of a successful, partnership. Ericsson's been with Qualcomm since the day one of accelerating 5G by more than 1 year, and has been part of achieving, breakthroughs in world's first on this technology. And I think that's clearly, you can see where the 5G leadership is. Now, this is incredible. To double the speed of millimeter wave and achieve 4.3 gigabits per second. One of the simple descriptions that I heard from some of our partners, actually I heard this from the CEO of AT&T, that described that 5G is about bringing fiber to the phone in terms of performance. And when you look at those speeds, we're there. And that's about thinking about over time, as the networks have been built, you have fiber-type experience on your device connected to the cloud. And then you can just imagine what is the potential for evolution of devices and applications and new use cases. As we think about driving, 5G into the hands of many users. The name, that has been associated with all the 5G launches is the Qualcomm Snapdragon platform. It has become the platform of choice for 5G, power leading devices across many industries. And with our portfolio of going from the Snapdragon 8 series to the 7 series and beyond, Snapdragon is also going to be the platform that will scale 5G globally. And the design pipeline on 5G Snapdragon now is higher than 275 across leading smartphones, mobile hotspots, consumer premise equipment for mobile broadband, and the 5G PC. In addition, it's starting to be deployed into connected 5G cars, industrial IoT devices, and much more. And there is no stronger validation of global leadership than the design pipeline and the recognition in the bet on our many customers and partners to tie their business to the Snapdragon platform. And we're very proud of this partnership. We're very thankful, and I think that's just the beginning. And as we think, about the Snapdragon, we're very proud to announce that the GSMA 2020, yes, the GSMA, gave Qualcomm X55 Snapdragon 5G modem platform the Disruptive Device Innovation Award. It was selected by a number of judges, and we just received that award yesterday, and we're very proud. Everyone here, especially our engineering team that works so hard on this platform to drive the commercialization, should be very proud of this award. And there is no question that Qualcomm has the modem 5G leadership in the industry. With our comprehensive modem to antenna solution across global system rollouts, we've been very focused on delivering not the 5G features of one market, but all markets. And it's about actually enabling all of those different technologies that we talk about and the potential 5G to go everywhere. And I think that is the leadership of the X55 second generation 5G modem of Qualcomm. But I will stop talking about the X55 because today we're very proud to announce our third generation 5G modem. The X60 modem The X60 modem also comes with our third generation RF front end, which I'll talk about that today. And is the world first 5 nanometer wireless chipset. It is going to change one more time the deployment of 5G networks, providing full carrier aggregation across millimeter wave and sub-6. I have a lot to tell you about that next. And it's going to enable all deployment modes across all spectrum, whether it's 4G spectrum, 5G spectrum, or millimeter wave spectrum, including the ability to combine, those spectrums. And it's going to continue to drive performance with 7.5 gigabits downlink speed performance and 3 gigabits uplink performance of 5G. And where we are right now, we're sampling the third generation modem to our partners this quarter. So that's why I think the whole, we're so proud of being the best of the industry with the X55. And at the time we received that award, and we have all those new technologies already sampling our third generation modem in 5 nanometer. And that is just the result of not only the commitment of Qualcomm to 5G, but the commitment of our many partners that are driving us to build, those great products. And with that, I want to take a moment to explain one big transformation that will be enabled by the X60 modem, okay? It's going to unlock the true performance of 5G as it builds coverage. So the way you look at the 5G deployments today, and if you look at this picture, the size and how wide is proportional to the speed, the performance that you get out of 5G network. So you have today the 4G low band. It's fascinating for us to design like this because we worked so hard in the past few years to bring 5G performance, 4G performance to gigabit speeds. But when you compare to 5G, that's where you see the equivalent performance of 4G in the low band. Then you add the mid band with much wider channels, and then you add millimeter wave, which the widest possible channel and performance. That's where you see some of the rollouts that are being built today. As operators build the sub-6 and they build millimeter wave. So the next step is the low bands with dynamic spectrum sharing. They convert to 5G, and you have now 5G and 4G devices coexisting in that band, and you started to build 5G in the existing base stations, building more and more coverage with dynamic spectrum sharing. But once you do that, you don't have the full benefit of the 5G speed. However, you're going to be on a 5G network, but you only get the benefit of the 5G speed once you get wider channels. And what X60 will do will allow all of those channels to be aggregated. So now you can have true 5G performance and experience in the existing 4G spectrum in the same way that you get in the mid-band. And then beyond that, we start aggregating performance, combining channels of the 5G mid-band, the sub-6, and millimeter wave for much higher speed and performance. So the reason the X60 is so significant is now enable operators. They have their 4G spectrum and they're launching service with 5G in that spectrum to build coverage maps to aggregate all of their spectrum holdings and then get channels that could be 100 meg wide or beyond and have true 5G performance in the 4G coverage area. And we're very excited about the potential that unlocks for 5G deployments. We have worldwide interest from the operators, and they will make use of all the existing spectrum holdings and accelerate the build out, not only a coverage, but also true 5G performance. Very excited about that and the flexibility of X60. So we look forward to a lot of X60 designs and a lot more coverage and capabilities on 5G networks worldwide. And with that, I'll go a little bit more technical, but we have another very exciting announcement to make. As the X60 builds our third generation RF front end modem to antenna platform, we have a brand new technology to announce for filters. It's called Qualcomm Ultra SAW filter technology. And I want to give you a little bit of a background. When we enter the RF front end space, we had building capability, especially to filtering, which is very important to filter channels, and you'll be able to have performance of the spectrum. We build capabilities. In 2019, we said we match the world leader. And in 2019, we achieved parity in performance with the technology of the incumbent in filter that was perceived as the leading performance technology. With our BAW technology, we match performance in 19, and we have a number of designs as part of our 5G designs that you see this. In 20, with Ultra SAW, we take the leadership. Qualcomm is now, with Ultra SAW, the benchmark in performance for filter technology, especially for the high bands. They're in design wins on X60 with our front end with this Ultra SAW technology are in progress. We're going to see devices in the second half of 20. And when you think about the performance improvement for the high band. And as you do more and more of 5G deployments, Qualcomm just took the performance benchmark. And this is where you see some of our competitor filter technology versus Qualcomm Ultrasaw. It's 1 dB of improvement in performance on the filter. And when you talk about how selective the filter is about 3x, multiple times over what the competing BOS solution is. So we're very happy about that. And what it is, if I can break it down in a very simple way, is significant increase in performance, in coverage, and in power of the 5G devices using our third generation RF front end. And the Ultrasaw filter is now the technology to be chased, by our competitors. And we're very happy to take the leadership position in our front end performance. So we talk about the progress of 5G in 2019. We talk about what's next for 2020. We announced, new modem in RF technology. But now all of this needs to be translated into real experience to users. And the Snapdragon 865, which is powering the leading 5G smartphones in the industry, with our 5th generation AI engine, with desktop quality Snapdragon gaming, in the leading DxO score across all technologies in camera performance, it continues to increase its design pipeline. And the 865 now has 70 designs. The 70 designs, they're launched or in development. You can see many of the global 5G flagship lines, much more that is going to be announced soon. And this is a testimony of the hard work to basically not only lead in 5G, but developing the processing capabilities and the multimedia capabilities that will unlock the new use cases enabled by 5G speed and latency. But rather than you hear about experience for Qualcomm, what I would like to do is welcome to stage the world-leading innovator and flagship smartphone company, Samsung, a great partner of Qualcomm. Please welcome Dr. Lee from Samsung. He's the Senior Vice President and Head of Technology Strategy at Samsung.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Lee, we're very happy to have Samsung with us. This is a story of a successful partnership for multiple decades, especially in the leadership of new technology innovation. This is a company that has a similar DNA with Qualcomm. It's about this endless pursuit of excellence and innovation and technology, and we're very happy to have you on stage here with us for a press conference.
Thank you for having me here, Cristiano. And congratulations to you and Team Qualcomm on your very impressive launch of Snapdragon 865.
Thank you very much.
Earlier this month, we, Samsung, had our own launch for the new Samsung Galaxy S20, which is one of the first phones to feature your Snapdragon 865, as well as our new Galaxy Z Flip foldable phones. We are very excited to see how the new product will fundamentally change how consumers use mobile technology.
So when we look at those great devices, one of the questions that we have, what are the features, for example, of the S20 that you're most proud of?
So as we developed our Galaxy S20 series product, we placed a very strong emphasis on expanding the availability and capabilities of 5G, as well as creating an entirely new AI camera. That's why our Galaxy S20 device line has 5G capabilities in the entire lineup. The Galaxy S20 series are the first phones with standalone 5G capabilities that will deliver the ultra-low latency for new mobile experiences like augmented reality and cloud gaming. You can also upload, share, and create content in seconds with support for both hyperfast millimeter wave and sub-6 frequencies. We recently announced the integration of Google Duo directly to Galaxy S20 devices. With our wide-angle camera on the S20, you can show more of what's around you, giving a much more immersive video call experience instead of just a constant close-up of your face. We know, we know that when people are choosing their next smartphone, the single most important factor is the camera. Not only does the camera allow you to capture the experiences around you, it allows you to express yourself, connect with others, and share memories and important moments with the people you care about. That is why we are so excited about the Galaxy S20 camera.
Literally, this is incredible. And one of the things that we believe is the ability of users to instantly share their experience, upload things to the cloud is going to unlock a lot of new use cases, and especially video, as you talk about it, plus the camera working together. But as you think about this 5G, build out globally, and how important is 5G to transform the experience, where do you expect the industry to go next with 5G?
Okay, good question. So we at Samsung truly believe that 5G has the transformative power to change everything people can do with their phones. We see this year 2020, as a critical moment to establish the role technologies like 5G will play in our lives. We are making 5G available to more people more quickly than anyone thought possible. But we must also ensure that consumers find the 5G experiences to be valuable. That is why we are working closely with Qualcomm to create new mobile 5G experiences that are easy to use and make your life better. One example is multi-view camera live streaming, which allows the user to become the director. They choose their favorite angles, and the Galaxy S20 does the rest. Another example is seamless cloud gaming, letting you play a wide variety of games from your S20 with no annoying lags or lost connections, making mobile gaming as fun and exciting as console gaming for the first time. The Galaxy S20 series is just the first step toward a new generation of meaningful mobile experiences that will benefit from the convergence of 5G, AI, and IoT. This is truly an exciting moment for us.
Look, this, especially when you said about gaming, we believe at Qualcomm, and we have been saying this statement, the next console may be the last console, because the power of mobile gaming, as we delivered 5G streaming of gaming and we build even better devices, is a much larger scale than any console. And this is pretty exciting. But then the obvious question is, there's so many opportunities. How do we get everyone to experience 5G?
Okay. So the Galaxy S20 has the latest advanced 5G technology already embedded, making it ready for all 5G has to offer. With the Galaxy S20, consumers will feel 5G's transformative power on video gaming, communication, and more as soon as they have access to it. But this is still the beginning of the 5G revolution, and our priorities are to provide access to the power of 5G for as many people as possible, and continue to work with partners like Qualcomm and developers to pioneer new technologies and experiences for consumers. The experiences we could previously only dream about will now become reality. We value our partnership with Qualcomm, and together we are committed to launching new devices with the most advanced 5G solutions available, with broader device categories that span smartphones, tablets, PCs, wearables, and more, all available across a wide range of price points from flagships to more affordable devices. Consumers will be able to experience a new world of mobile innovation. With more than 6.7 million 5G devices shipped last year, Samsung has been a driving force to accelerate the 5G deployment and to democratize 5G services. This year, commercialization of the latest 5G releases, 5G global roaming support, and many more. Thanks to you, Cristiano and Qualcomm, for your partnership, and we look forward to seeing what we can achieve together and for consumers in the months and years ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Lee, for supporting us. Thank you for this partnership. Together with Samsung, we're going to scale 5G in 2020. And then there are many people here in the audience that work days and nights with Samsung side by side to build those incredible devices, the GS20 as well as the Flip. So thank you very much for your commitment. Those are great devices, and we're very happy about the success of Samsung. Nothing can separate Qualcomm and Samsung. This is a story of a great partnership that have been driving, innovation in the industry since the beginning of digital cellular. And we think about this great device of Samsung, and we want to give you an idea of some of those 5G experiences that you can have building on the many things that Dr. Lee, outlined. And, we think about a live concert experience, and the reason we picked that, because it has many, in one single place, has many of the different attributes that of the 5G technology and how much better it is than what we have today with 4G. For example, in a concert, you have a very crowded experience. Everybody is there. Everybody is in a concert with the phones. You can see the flashlights when you go to a concert. People want to capture a moment they want to share. So you have a situation of congested networks that 5G comes to solve. Everybody will have the bandwidth to share the experience. At the same time, it brings aspects of the bandwidth for video, the latency of 5G, and allow people also to exercise the user-generated content in virtual presence as they share their moments. So we have a demo to share with you so we can see how incredible this experience will be with 5G. Let's go to our lobby where our head of 5G, Durga Maladi, will walk all of us through it.
All right, hi everyone, thanks Cristiano. We associate 5G millimeter wave with extremely high data rates and very high capacity. And as Cristiano mentioned, one of the ways to think about this is, let's say that you're in a concert or in a sports stadium, lots of people, congested environment. Typically, you don't have a very good network experience over there. The data rates are not that high. So one of the questions and one of the things that we're going to take a look at is what happens when you have 5G millimeter wave in such an environment. And so I'm going to walk through the demo setup in itself, and then we're going to take a look at it. So what I have here is, this is the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra 5G, the latest one with our X55 modem RF solution. It's connected to an Ericsson base station right here in our lobby using 5G millimeter wave. And it's connected to a commercial network, a commercial Verizon network. So it's all live right now. And on this phone, we have a multi-camera app. There are 4 simultaneous 4K video streams that are running, which shows how the concert is from different viewpoints. Each stream is about 50 megabits per second. So one user, we are talking of 200 megabits per second just for a single user in itself. And you can seamlessly go from one viewpoint to another viewpoint. Let's take a look. The transitions from each of the individual streams is quite seamless, actually. And keep in mind that every one of these streams is at about 50 megabits per second or so. It's at a very high resolution and gives you a nice viewpoint, actually different kinds of viewpoints over there. Very interesting viewpoints in some instances. In one of the streams, I believe there is a GoPro camera on a champagne bottle as well. Quite fascinating in itself. All right. So as you can see, you can even see the perspective from the artist itself. And so as you can see from the overall multi-camera app, 5G millimeter wave provides a capacity for a given user of about 200 megabits per second. That means when you have thousands of users, all these users get to experience this at the same time and enjoy the event. So we're looking forward to leaving all these network frustrations in the past as we march ahead with 5G millimeter wave. Back to you, Cristiano.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Durga. It's a great way, to demonstrate this. Also, a big shout out and thank you to the artist, Steve Aoki. They work with us to show this experience. And we're very excited to see how this actually could change in general how people will experience, live music and in live events in general. It's a big opportunity, and we see a lot of the operators very excited about actually wiring a lot of the stadiums and concerts with 5G. And as Durga said, congestion is going to be a thing of the past. Now, we talk about the experience having their phones, but one of the also exciting things about 5G is going to be the change of mobile computing into new classes of devices. We have bet very early on this field that, technology such as augmented reality and virtual reality could fundamentally change many of the experiences, and 5G actually bring that to reality. As you can actually connect those devices to the cloud, you bring the power of the cloud, and that could be yet a brand new computing platform for mobile. And that's the future of the evolution of mobile platform. We're going to have many more devices that are going to be connected. And we've been working on deliver that experience. It's one that we like it because not only exercise the 5G on the modem side, but a lot of technology on the processing side with breakthrough innovation to create seamless augmented reality and virtual reality use cases. And with that, we're announcing today the reference design for the XR2 5G connected platform. This is one that's been designed into a lot of the world leaders, and now we provide a reference design so developers can start thinking about having content created as well. We're going to scale this with 5G connectivity, and we're very happy about the traction so far. The XR2 features 2K per eye dual panel LCD, 7 camera support, 6 degrees of freedom, head tracking, and boundless XR support. So it basically, in the coming months, allow a lot of the partners and developers to take advantage of the technology, the fact that 5G is being deployed, and create whole different experiences. But as we think about those things, what will be really good is actually to hear from some of the companies, and I'll say the company, that is supposed to be the largest beneficiary of the 5G transition, especially as services and applications started to evolve independent of what your mobile device and operational system can do, and really taking the full advantage of the cloud. And also a company that thrive on connectivity and connecting everyone. So we're very happy to bring on stage Rafael Camargo, the Vice President of Hardware of Facebook, to tell you how 5G is important for Facebook and what are the great things they can do. Welcome, Rafael. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Likewise.
This is also another great partnership between Qualcomm and Facebook. We both bet early in augmented reality and virtual reality, and I think we're just at the beginning of a big transformation. So I have a few questions for you, Rafael.
Sure.
Maybe the first question is, how will 5G change and enhance Facebook products and services? Is there an opportunity for Facebook to expand the ecosystem with 5G?
Sure. Well, first, congratulations on all the launches today. We're super excited about the XR2 platform, as you know. So more things to come on that.
Thank you very much.
I think for Facebook, I mean, we give people the tools to connect with each other and also to self-express, which are two fundamental human needs, isn't it? And as you said before, our platform is actually built and totally dependent on communication infrastructure and communication platforms. So what you've seen is as the networks have evolved, you know, the formats, the capabilities, and all that for people to connect, to self-express, and all that have evolved as well and have grown tremendously. An example is like messaging. For example, we have the largest messaging platforms in the world with WhatsApp, Instagram, Messenger. And it started like just text, then evolved to like you can put pictures, you have video. Nowadays, we add all the things like AR filters and all that on top of that. That is fundamentally depending on the capabilities of the network growing. Similarly with video communications, started with, I don't know, like postage size kind of video frames. Now we're doing the HD video with the AR filters on top and all that. So imagine what these new capabilities of always connected, high performance networks, you know, high uplink bandwidth that you were talking about before can unleash. And more importantly also, that always connectivity, it will allow us to do things such as like, for example, network site rendering that will make us evolve the features that we give to our users much faster than just depending on the current OSs to be adopting them.
This is incredible. You know, we're really proud of this partnership because Facebook is a company that actually has a lot of the capabilities that could translate into great experience to consumers what we do from a technology perspective. And I want to say, from when we start talking about 5G, of all the companies we interact with, the one that got 5G first and understood how this could fundamentally change and enhance experiences is Facebook. And I agree with you. It was not too long ago that we just be able to share static pictures and we look at the potential what we can do. But that leads me to a very important question. Because I remember way back when 3G started, one of the killer apps of 3G will be video conference. Yeah. And you know, we've been now went to 3G, went to 4G, now we're going to 5G. And we believe at Qualcomm that 5G actually has the potential to really deliver this experience of video conference. And when we look at a company like Facebook, for example, you guys have something very interesting, which is the portal. Mm-hmm. And in the portal, you understand how you hang out with somebody that is connected with you through video conference. How does Facebook think about social applications and the experience of video conference can evolve with 5G?
Yeah, well, first let me just intro a little bit of Portal and why we did that.
Yes.
We actually have, I believe, the largest video communication platform in the world. And it's certainly our fastest growing service. in messaging. But we felt that the experience was far from what it needed to be to really make you feel like you're there versus just kind of like you see in a little screen or whatever. And part of that was a constraint that the current mobile devices bring to the experience in many aspects. So we set ourselves to say, like, if we could start everything from the scratch and reinvent the experience, what can we do? And that's why we created Portal. And our users are loving it. Basically, we're seeing a level of engagement that is over the roof. And truly the experience is what you said. People feel like they're there. They're transported to the other side. But honestly, that's just the beginning. We're still bound to like maybe a static device at home, you know, with your home connectivity and all that. Our vision with a lot of the work we're doing with AR and VR is really to move from there, that is a starting point, a transformational experience, to now make it ubiquitous with sort of like allowing you to teleport yourself from anywhere, anytime. And that's really where the connectivity, again, of 5G and the ubiquity of it is going to be fundamental to achieve that vision.
That's incredible. That's incredible. We can't wait for this to happen. And I think we'll see the opportunity, you know, and if you look at also the conversations we had about with Samsung, Dr. Lee, about GS20, I think the ability to create those immersive, you know, virtual presence experience, I think it's going to be, people are going to understand that. It will change how people will connect, and it will also bring other devices to as be part of the experience besides the mobile phone. And it could be the, you know, a big step forward the next generation mobile computing. And that leads us to the whole conversation about mixed reality. And you know, we have been a company that, you know, invested like Facebook early on this. And we're very happy to see what we jointly achieved with the Oculus Quest, that you start to get scale, and with that scale start to ignite, you know, developer ecosystem, start to see great content, but we all think that's just the beginning. How will 5G enhance and improve the XR experience for devices like the Oculus?
Well, first, let me tell you that in spite of what you said before, the ultimate and the last gaming console would really be what we're doing on VR and AR, not yet mobile.
Very good.
Okay? So it's one more iteration.
We
Quest,
like both. We like both.
Yes. Quest is really, it's our new generation virtual reality platform. We launched it last May, and the intent there was to remove a lot of the friction that existed on early devices on VR. You know, so we added inside-out tracking. It's self-contained unit. All the compute is built in, so you don't need a PC. You're not tethered by a cable. You don't need sensors outside or anything. Just put it on, and it works. And it basically has driven adoption and growth on the platform exponentially. We think this is really the 1.0 device that is really going to drive VR to the vision that we both together had that it can achieve. And we're seeing it both on the device sales, but as well as on the engagement with the platform and the content and applications. So obviously, VR is all about low latency, very high resolution rendering, which means high bandwidth and all that. So 5G is a good fit for that. I don't think it's an if, it's just a when. On the virtual reality side of it, still a nascent platform, you know, we're now growing very fast. So my view is that you will start seeing adoption with like split rendering, maybe in enterprise applications, which is another area where we're seeing a lot of traction early on, and that will drive basically the next level of ubiquitous, which is to have the network always on and anywhere, you know. That's one part, but for us, even more important is the work we're doing on augmented reality, where we see that as truly the next mobile computing platform. And that platform fundamentally needs 5G. It's actually, our vision is not doable without the 5G pieces. Imagine things like what I mentioned before in terms of teleporting, anywhere, anytime. That basically requires an always-on connectivity with the characteristics of 5G. That is one of the fundamental pieces that we will build on augmented reality devices, and other things like what we talked about in the past about live maps, which is the idea of having persistent virtual objects anywhere in the physical world, and then you can access them, interact with them, collaborate with them. Again, that fundamentally needs the characteristics that we have on 5G. So the next generation computing platform, 5G was the first step necessary to even build it and deliver it.
That's incredible. And the reason I think we're so obsessed in continue to make our technology smaller, more power efficient, is to actually enable companies like Facebook to bring that experience. And I think in augmented reality, I think what you said about the next generation mobile computing, things that today we only see in science fiction movies, we're gonna make that a reality with 5G. Thank you so much. Really appreciate, I think, all that Facebook is doing and your vision to work with Qualcomm on 5G. Thank you for the great partnership. Thank you for sharing this with us today. Thank you so much, Rafael. Thank you. You heard from Qualcomm in the past about the things that you could do, especially with a wearable, augmented reality devices. But, to hear that from Facebook, it's a whole different story. And I think stay tuned. I think this company is doing incredible products, and I think it's a company that can take fully advantage of 5G technology. Thank you again, Facebook and Rafael Camargo, for being here with us. Much appreciated. Now we have more. And I think for all of you here, also the folks that are watching the streaming, thank you very much for staying with us watching the streaming. We want to talk about redefining productivity. And that's another major transformation enabled by 5G as we look on how we're going to meet the needs of a cloud-connected world. Consumers in the more modern workforce, they're changing, and they're changing because of the smartphone-driven experience and expectations. I will give you a data point which it is incredible, and I think is being taken for granted. When we look at this data point, we at Qualcomm have no doubt in our minds that the future is about an always connected PC. Today, 83% of the enterprise workloads are in the cloud. 83% of the enterprise workloads are in the cloud. If that doesn't show the future of enterprise cloud computer with connected PC, I don't know what does it. And we have been very focused in driving that experience with our Snapdragon mobile compute platforms to deliver that always-on connected performance with not all-day battery life, multi-day battery life, to actually meet the needs of the workforce and consumers of tomorrow in the all cloud-connected world. And with that, we couldn't do it alone. We needed to part with the world's leader. And we're very proud to have here with us on stage Mark Linton, the General Manager of Portfolio and Solutions of Microsoft. Please welcome Mark. Mark, thank you very much. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks.
It's a really great, exciting time, as you're going to see today, for 5G in computing. And, I'm just going to recap. This is a journey between Qualcomm and Microsoft really trying to deliver what is an always-on, always-connected PC. And last year, 2019, we introduced the world's first 5G PC platform on the HCX to transform the premium mobile experience. But at the very end of the year in December, we introduced two new platforms, 8C and 7C, to basically drive this experience for mainstream and entry-level mobile PCs. And the whole idea is to create a complete compute portfolio that we can actually take this to the modern workforce. So I have to ask Microsoft, From Microsoft perspective, an expanded portfolio, what does it really mean for Microsoft?
Well, first of all, I'll say, there's PCs around the world. We sell hundreds of millions of PCs each year. But really, when you look at connectivity to broadband networks, we're a very small fraction of those PCs. There's no reason why you shouldn't be always connected with the PC that you have, just like you have with your phone. Increasingly with 5G, we'll see speeds that are blazing fast, so you don't need to look for the Wi-Fi in the coffee shop. You're just always connected securely to your operator's network. So for us, this is a big opportunity where we see our PC customers being unleashed and having connectivity everywhere. And of course, we're working with Qualcomm to do that, because having an always connected PC with all of that kind of IP and engineering capability built right into the chassis, we think is a huge offering to customers. Now, we've been working together for many years on the Windows platform, bringing Windows to the ARM platform, in particular on the Snapdragon compute platform. And as you think about what we're doing now, it's great to see we'll have multiple offerings across price bands. Essentially, what we've had over the previous 3 generations are more premium devices. Surface Pro X, Samsung, Lenovo have released premium devices. But of course, as you look at mid-range and entry price points, you open up to tens of millions more customers and new scenarios there that we didn't have access to before. So we'd like to just say thank you for the partnership. It's amazing the work we're doing here to get these beautiful, sleek, modern devices always connected, better than all-day battery life. It means a lot to us at Microsoft.
Thank you. It is about getting for everyone. It's really about getting this for everyone. And with that, we're going to take the opportunity here on stage with us, and we're going to make another announcement. We're announcing today that 17 mobile operators around the world are supporting our 5G PC connected initiative, and they're engaging and offer their customers. You can see all the names of the global leading operators that join us in this announcement across all the leading economies in the United States, in Europe, also going to China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, Middle East, and Africa. And I think this is about making the advantage of the 5G networks that have been built, create those new experiences, and allow more of consumers in the workforce to be connected. Very excited about this. And then when you now have not only, as we talk about it, all those different segments and price points, but now you have this extended reach for connectivity in all geographies. From a Microsoft perspective, what are the opportunities that we can see with this?
Yeah, I think it is all about extended reach. If you look at the operators here and around the world, hundreds of millions of customers have a monthly subscription relationship with this channel, and we think that that's a new opportunity where PCs aren't commonly sold today, but with connectivity, you experience 2 things. First of all, you look at the device plus the connectivity as a package, and many of the operators today are looking at device as a service. So can I package that device in with services for a consumer or commercial customer in an easy monthly fee? We think that's a huge opportunity. The second one is when you think about the cloud services, the operators are a key gateway into cloud services that will deliver. So it could be collaboration and productivity. It might be gaming services down the road. But having a footprint here, and again with Qualcomm's partnership, to open up this channel to PCs that are always connected and then cloud services as well, we think it's going to be huge.
That's incredible. We actually see this potential transformation when you think about all of the services that are in the cloud, many of the ones that Microsoft can provide, plus the connectivity. We can start thinking about PC as a service. And something, this is a whole new opportunity for the industry. So as we talk about those things, we have a demo that we want to share with you so you can actually see the power of the 5G PC for yourself. So we're going to go back to the lobby where Miguel Nunes with our mobile compute team will take you through this demo.
Thank you, Cristiano. We're excited to be here today. Today we're showing a technology demonstration using Adobe Premiere Pro over 5G on a Windows Virtual Desktop to edit uncompressed 6K red video on the Lenovo Yoga 5G PC. This video is using over 200 gigabytes of data. Most users today do not use thin and light PCs to edit this type of raw video. This is typically done on very high-performance workstations. But today, with the power of Snapdragon 8cx 5G and millimeter wave technology, we're able to edit high-resolution raw content in the cloud from virtually anywhere. Professional video editors like my colleague Steven over here can apply a LUT to the clip to adjust color, hue, saturation to achieve a certain look, alter the segment of the source clip, preview changes, download, and even stream 4K content all in real time. Whether it's video editing or working with complex CAD projects, you can now do this virtually anywhere with incredible battery life and 5G connectivity, and all thanks to the Snapdragon compute platform. We're excited to see how Snapdragon will redefine mobile computing. Wasn't that amazing? Back to you, Cristiano.
Here we go. So, what you just saw today, and you know, it points back to some of the capabilities we talk about 5G, and we'll try to make it real for you, is this ability to actually have on-demand computing. If you have a 5G connected PC, and a lot of your workloads are in the cloud, you can get everyone without having the ability of having a very powerful workstation to do those heavy productivity applications. And think about what that does in democratizing computing in the PC. So it's really exciting era that's about to unleash with 5G. And I think a big shout out to Lenovo, which has been the first to build a 5G connected PC. Now, as we talk about democratizing compute, as we talk about connectivity, as we talk about different price points, that obviously, Mark, lead us to this conversation about education. And that's another area that Qualcomm and Microsoft are working together to try to bring, Windows solutions to education.
Yeah.
Can you tell everyone about what we're doing?
Sure can. And it's something we're very proud of. Windows is the leading platform globally for students and teachers and educators around the world. And really our mission for students is to empower students globally to achieve more and achieve their potential. But of course, you can't achieve your potential today if you're not connected to the internet. I'll throw out some statistics here. In the US alone, roughly 70% of teachers assign classwork that needs broadband access, but over 23 million students in rural areas and underprivileged areas don't have access to the broadband. So in a sense, not having access to broadband increases that digital divide where the students can't get what they need to get done. On a global scale, it's actually over 1 billion students don't have access to broadband. And so in emerging markets, and again, rural areas and developed markets, this is a real problem. And so we're working with Qualcomm and some of the industry's leading partners in this space to address the issue. And so what you can see here is two devices that we've recently announced. One from JP Secudo, who's very, very big in the education space, a top provider for not just hardware, but they actually do modular schools. So they'll go in and build out school infrastructure and classrooms in emerging markets as well. And then Positivo, who specializes in education with us too. And these devices are on the Qualcomm 7C compute platform, which is the entry-level platform, but it gives great performance, all-day battery life, and connectivity built in. So you can imagine a school that can't afford Wi-Fi infrastructure locally, and so their kids were disconnected before. Now they can get on broadband access with this compute platform. And then if you have power issues, which many emerging markets, the power is not reliable, you've got better than all-day battery life, so your classroom doesn't go down when the power does. So just these simple solutions with new, modern devices from some of the industry-leading partners who understand these customers best, we can really change students' lives for the better and, again, reduce that digital divide. And so don't just take my word for it. We actually took a video of one of our case studies in South Africa where we're changing the lives of these students. And so we'd like to roll that video for you now. Thanks.
We have got the opportunity of molding these young minds which are differently abled. We are a special school situated in a rural area. We don't have any connectivity, generally.
We have 10 computers, offline, no updates. The learners were totally disadvantaged because they couldn't find the information.
We use comma to separate?
Budget-wise, we couldn't afford that as a school. Windows on Snapdragon laptop are number one.
With Microsoft, everything has been easy. The learners are participating fully.
It's same as the cellular phones. You just click, then you'll see that you can connect. All the updates will be just there. With the immersive reader, it goes with the pace of the learner. Look at the learners who can't read. They can hear the words. The learners who can't write, they can speak.
I literally had goosebumps when I heard them answering all those questions, participating verbally, even in writing, and participating fully in teaching and learning. With the technology that has come through, we're gonna have more time to do what is expected of us as educators. Wonderful.
The battery life is lasting long. We have some on the wheelchairs, so we don't have to put the charges all around.
They know that they are going to be able to compete with other learners outside now, not just within the school.
This is a dream come true. Microsoft has taken a very good step towards the education system of South Africa because most of the learners will be computer literate. It's a massive game changer. If they have technology, everything is possible.
You know, this is incredible, and this is the reason many of us here at Qualcomm, we come to work every day, because the technology we do actually can change the society. Yep. And thank you for this great partnership, Mark.
Thank you, Cristiano.
Thanks for being here with us.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone at Qualcomm. Appreciate it.
This is really exciting, and it's easy to see how a number of technologies put together can make a huge difference. Mobile technology has been a force for good, has been closing the digital divide, and now we can take this whole thing to computing and think about, the future of the modern workforce, and everybody will have an opportunity to be connected. So this is great, and we're very proud of this project with Microsoft, and stay tuned. We'll continue to see those things as we bring Windows connected PCs to education. So we talk a lot today about how we're thinking about the evolution of 5G technology, how we get new modem technology, new speed, new services, new devices, new experience. But for all of this to happen, you need the evolution of the networks to 5G. And this is another area that Qualcomm has been investing, and frankly, not being recognized for, but it's a great opportunity in this press conference today. Not only, to all of you that is watching us, but the people on the streaming, to provide a little bit of this evolving role of Qualcomm in helping transform the networks of tomorrow, that are, and some of it, which you're going to be able to start to see that, come into life in 2020 using 5G technology. 5G, to achieve its full potential within all the different frequency bands, will require networks to be densified. And densification is going to be part of delivering a persistent user experience and actually create some of those new devices that you heard Facebook talking about it. And as we continue to densify the network, we're going to see also the change of the network influencing how the cloud changes. As the cloud moves closer to the edge to make advantage of the 5G capabilities, and 5G helps redefine the cloud as well. And for you to do all of this, you will need networks that are going to be capable of supporting all of those new future services, but also scalable, open, and actually relying more and more on virtualization. So those are the great opportunities for changing the network of 5G. And at the end of the day, 5G networks that are going to be very successful, they will be dense, they'll be flexible, and they will be secure. You can't just secure the core. You have to secure an end-to-end, because there's no longer a unique technology just for phones, but for everything around it. And as it changes, as 5G networks also change the data center, it's not far-fetched to say that 5G is actually going to change and it's going to be part of the future of the internet. So we have spent a lot of time and effort developing technologies that can actually, and products that could augment our existing partners in building those capabilities. And we're announcing today our 5G RAN expansion of our ecosystem, as our FSM solution has been part of very interesting, modern, low total cost of ownership, very efficient for the acquisition of new sites, base stations for 5G. And we're showing the expansion of our ecosystem, where you see a significant expansions of industry leaders. They're now looking into the platform to help them build a RAN. And that's, a natural expansion of Qualcomm, especially as you look of the opportunities that you have as you have a completely rebuilt and an expansion of the 5G infrastructure. But I don't want you to hear from Qualcomm about this. We have the pleasure to have with us today the company that is the world's first fully virtualized 5G network. Things that many thought was not possible to do, it is going to become a reality in 2020. And they will tell you how it's possible to completely change and disrupt in the network technology, and what are the things that we're able to do together. It's my great pleasure to bring to space the CEO of Rakuten, Miki Mikitani.
Thank you. First of all, thank you very much, Cristiano and Team Qualcomm, for inviting us for this great event. My name is Miki Mikitani. I'm founder and CEO of Rakuten. I think the reason why we are here is there are lots of controversy about is this virtualized radio access network is real or not. And some government officials in Washington, D.C. said it's pie in the sky. But I'm here to explain we are about to serve full menu dinner with virtualized radio access network. So before talking about it, I just wanted to introduce ourselves because many of you wondering who is Rakuten. And obviously in the US, now we do lots of cashback services. Some of you may have seen, get a 10% back, 8% back from wherever you buy. But we are a Japanese startup company. Rakuten means optimism. So we always challenge new business scheme or some technical challenges, and our the philosophy is to break through with the technology. So I founded Rakuten in 1997 with 2 people when nobody was buying anything from the internet. So I am the one of the survivor during the course of these internet services. I have seen rise and falls of many, many companies, and only a handful of the entrepreneurs who are still alive. Now, when we started Rakuten, we only had 13 merchants, and our monthly sales was about $2,900 US, but I was buying 2,000, so real, GTV was just 900. And now Rakuten evolved so much. We are the biggest e-commerce company in Japan, #1 credit card company, #1 mobile payment, #1 online bank, #1 e-money card. We have the biggest point program in Japan, #1 travel agent, online travel agent. And most importantly, we are the biggest MVNO in Japan at this moment. And now here's a snapshot of our business. Our global annual GTV was in 2019, $175 billion US. The Japanese marketplace business was about 35 billion. Global membership is 1.4 billion, and so forth and so forth. So now we started from small marketplace, and we grew our ecosystem around it. Not only in Japan, but now we're expanding our ecosystem outside of Japan as well. And now we decided to really try to make a huge another challenge for the mobile network. Because I think it is going to be really important to combine network and also our OTT services. Rakuten's current global GTV, as I mentioned, is 175 USD. This year, we're going to probably get to 230 billion plus or minus. And globally, we have 1.4 billion members because we have messaging app Viber, which is very popular in Eastern European countries and Russia. And but something strange has happened. Two years ago, I applied to get a mobile spectrum from the Japanese government. In Japan, it is not auction, it's allocation. And for many, many reasons, Japanese government decided to allocate spectrum to us. Initially, my thought was just to build the network in a conventional way. I will be very honest. I was thinking about buying network equipment from Huawei and just build very simple network and very simple business model and outprice of my competitors in Japan. That was the original idea. But a new idea came up by the new CTO, whom we hired, who is going to speak after me. And he's going to talk about all these recipes, why we can do this. But the basic thing is we decided to go full cloud, full virtualization, nobody has ever done. We completely disaggregated hardware and software in 18 months. And we are about to launch our full commercial service as of April 8th in Japan. The journey, when we started, I really thought must be a piece of cake. Because I am from an internet background. We live on IP network. What's the difference between IP network and mobile network? Because I was ignorant. I took it so easy, and I thought this must be a piece of cake. But the idea was much, much more difficult, and the mobile network is so complicated. But after all, we already built over 4,000 the cell sites, which are 5G ready. We created our multi-access edge computing data centers and virtual radio access network and network core, and which is connected to the internet. So we have done everything from the beginning. Now we are ready to launch our service with a many surprise of many, many companies. Not only the structure of the network, the way we consider communication is very different from traditional telcos. We are going to fully launch our RCS app called Link, which is not only for voice call or texting, but it will include all these cool functionalities, including the data storage, and also file transfer, some games, and video calls and group calls. And of course, many companies already are doing RCS services, but the level we are going to deploy is going to be probably a little bit ahead of our competitors, because we are going to position our RCS Link Caller app as our main communication channel. So if you go outside of Japan, your voice call will always go through the data. So we believe, when I started this business, I had many suggestions from my friends in this industry. The CEOs of big telcos, hey, Mickey, don't do it. You're gonna fail. I'm a stupid guy, so if you guys say you're gonna fail, I tend to challenge, right? And we did a challenge, and we enjoyed the challenge, and it was a very, very hard working of our, engineering team, and our very hard working business people. I think we came here to the point that we will be able to deploy our service in Japan. But we did this not only for Japan, because it was a huge investment. Of course, it's going to be much, much smaller than doing it in a traditional legacy approach. But we intend to export what we have built outside of Japan as well. So Rakuten Mobile is not just about Japanese mobile network operator service, but we want to become, together with Qualcomm and others, global MNO platform service. So with that, I would like to give the stage to our CTO, Tarek Amin, and he's gonna talk about all the recipes of what we have done. Thank you very much.
I've been coming to this campus, Cristiano, for many, many years. I must say I come here to learn and inspire. I consider many of Qualcomm engineers an education institute for me personally. So allow me to give you now a chronology of what we went through. But before I present this to you, because I want to spend 1 second to tell you about the status of affair and why we approach building this network architecture in a very fundamental way than what you see any telco network deployed across the world. Across many of the presentations, when we talk about social sustainability and responsibility, despite how elegant the technologies across the world, whether it is 5G, tomorrow 6G, we still have 3 billion people across this planet that don't have basic connectivity. My belief, and my fundamental belief, it is just very simple formula to the reasons behind that. Telco networks of today are very complex. No matter what the Gs are, they're very archaic on how it's approached. It has no software centricity. It is all about hardware migration as you go from one generation to the other. So in 2018, we had a choice, and it's a choice. It's not just because we're greenfield versus brownfield. It's a game of a choice. And the choice that we had, you build a network the likes of every other network, or you build a network the likes of none. So we went into a brainstorming session that says, what are the merits that defines the network of the future? And for us, it was very, very simple. Where is billions of US dollars get spent? Billions of US dollars do not get spent on the core infrastructure. Billions of US dollars get spent on radio access. So one of the most fundamental things that we have done, we said we're gonna virtualize the radio access. And believe me, in 2018, if you read any articles, they said this guy is crazy, it cannot work. But honestly, thanks to Mickey and his belief on what our capability, belief in human being, no difference on what probably Cristiano and Steve and the team believe in what the Qualcomm engineering team could deliver. We thought we could conquer this idea. We could make virtualization of radio access a reality. Second, which is really critical in terms of when we talk about security today, we believe that if the networks continue to be locked, if the networks is about black boxes, how do you claim your networks are secure? If you think that security is about core, my humble opinion to you, you are missing the entire big picture. You need to have standardized, open interfaces, open platform, complete hardware disaggregation in order to think about these networks of the future. When we talk about 5G, 5G will not live to its promise, no matter how great of a modem chip you do, if the network platforms are not built properly. So the mix of edge data centers to large data centers becomes a necessity to this architecture. And then lastly, but not least, and how you approach network automation. And believe me, if I take you and put you through the lenses of what happened in the telco today, you will be in shock comparing maybe what happens in even Rakuten IT world, Facebook, and other web-scale companies. So this is what we built. We said this doesn't exist. This is something you cannot RFP. And this is something that we had to go create from day zero. So our architecture revolved around a basic premise. We focused so much of our energy around this radio access. And we wanted to simplify the radio access and this base station because this is where majority of the cost gets spent at. And the approach that we have taken is the simplification in every element. We looked at the site and we said, let's examine it. How does these sites get deployed? There is cabinets. Typically, if you look at any operators across the world and ask, how do you evolve from 1G to 2G to 3 to 4 to 5? Most of the time, almost 100% of the time, it is about you take an old cabinet, you remove the cabinet, sometimes there's a baseband unit, you replace this baseband unit, but it's all about hardware. In Rakuten world, it's about a different story, simplification. We wanted to remove completely electronics from the site. We want to remove the electronics and remove the dependency from hardware to shift everything into software. So if you look at our architecture today is truly the world first commercial Open RAN deployment today across any telco. It is running at scale, so it is absolutely real. It's not pie in the sky. It is delivering capacity that is unprecedented. It is delivering cost savings that is unimaginable. It is delivering not only on CapEx, but believe me, people don't understand what is the definition of OpEx too. Please come to Rakuten and see how we run operation with only 130 people today in our operation team for the network that will be at the size of Sprint and T-Mobile in the US. So we had to do many things, by the way, to get this radio access done. But I think this is something that we've accomplished in August 2018. This is a pictorial picture, by the way, that we took on our first installation of a macro base station in Tokyo. Our building, by the way, is next to this site. But in totality, just think about the simplicity. This antenna did not exist. We didn't buy it from anybody. But we did convince Nokia to open up the remote radio head. And believe me, that was not trivial. But I give Nokia lots of credit for believing in what we wanted to do together with them. This was not a simple decision for them to do, but they've agreed. We wanted to remove jumpers, connectors, cables, and we reimagined the simplicity. Now, I would ask you, if the site is as simple as this, wouldn't network cost get cheaper? You connect one fiber, the site gets activated in totality in 8.5 minutes. This is a Wi-Fi-like deployment in a licensed radio spectrum. First in the world, never happened before. Thank you. The second thing I want to tell you, I mean, the relationship with Qualcomm for me personally is special, for our company is special, not just about devices. I think many people also don't understand that Qualcomm actually supplies infrastructure. And we both have co-invested because we believe we need to create an ecosystem. We need to create an ecosystem of people that believe in a different view of how you deploy network. It took us, honestly, I spoke to Mickey. I said, Mickey, I think we need to invest in this company called LTO Star. Really, the whole decision-making process took only a day to figure out this makes sense. Now, the one secret I'm going to tell you, when we selected LTO Star, I'm probably the craziest person to tell you I have not issued an RFP to LTO Star with compliance criteria of what they should make. What I accepted is they will have gaps. But what I also accepted that I have very strong partners. I got many companies that rallied behind this idea, and whatever gaps exist, we were convinced that we will fix them, and indeed that's what we have done. So these products that you see on the right side, this is today, Rakuten have enabled an ecosystem of an entirely open RAN architecture, and we're very, very proud of this. But let me explain to you about something you should be proud about, and the work and the effort of this engineering team, what has enabled now in a mature country like Japan from a massive disruption, believe me, massive disruption. Firstly, in millimeter wave, we do believe this technology has amazing potential, and we're still scratching the surface. We don't believe 5G could be deployed in one spectrum band. I think that 5G needs to be deployed in multi-duper band. Without millimeter wave, I don't think you will achieve the promise of throughput and capacity that you require to support tomorrow's application. The left side product, this is probably the proudest product that we're working on with Qualcomm. Complete ground-up invention from PCB board design started with a simple idea. The idea that we went to the team in here and said, look, we want to take your modem chipset that you built for terminal, but reimagine it inside an infrastructure. And this time around, can Qualcomm do more than just a modem? Can you think about RFIC integration and so on? So the FSM platform today is powering up all these platforms. The right three ones are today deployed in production. The millimeter wave one, we will be live by end of March. This product has the capability to deliver 9.6 gigabits per second. It is just utterly incredible. And for us, we're very, very thankful for all the hard work that the Qualcomm engineers have done. So many of the discussion happened, said, okay, well, fine. Now, is this POC? Does this network real? How do we scale the complexity? So the reality is we looked at redefining the experience. I want to tell you also the bottom left side, I put this picture for you. I have two products that also was built in collaboration with Qualcomm. The world first mass deployed virtual small cell is also now live running in Rakuten, both carrying your carrier-grade Wi-Fi platforms as well as FSM. We have created an unbelievable device, which we call Rakuten Mini, that became the hottest selling device powered by Qualcomm platforms. So the experiences are phenomenal. The automation that we have built is a network that acts like a Wi-Fi network. Plug, play, and forget about it. To activate a traditional macro base station, it's the 3-day process. In Rakuten Mobile today, it's 8.5 minutes, and that's a very, very good thing. Lastly, on this reality check, this is my favorite thing that I keep telling the world. We have probably one of the most dense architecture network that we have deployed. The network, as it's defined, is heterogeneous. A network in which all components play very well with each other. Now, we could do this for a very simple reason. We control this software layer across macro, micro, small cell, Wi-Fi, and they are unified. They're working as one heterogeneous unit, harmonious in terms of what it needs to do. Our site-to-site distance is approaching less than 200 meters. So there's no longer a debate. Does this work or not? We've achieved a capacity level that is really unprecedented on what you could do in maximizing throughput per sector, capacity per sector, and we have over 3,200 sites on air in Tokyo. So believe me, this is real. Now, I invited everybody to come to Tokyo and see what happens. What's the judgment of scalability and reliability? We carry today almost 1 gigabyte of data per user per day. Japan today is sitting at 5 GB of data per user per month. I think we have done something really to prove the reliability, and we are still scratching the surface. People that understand software will know that we're going to get better. I want reliability to be 100%. And I think this is something that the trajectory we're heading towards. We talked about the vRAN. We think without this, I don't think 5G and future networks will meet its objective, but we are a huge, huge believer of what the Open RAN. And I'm glad that we are the forefront today of not just talking about labs and POCs, but real deployment. So, and then finally, I'll end up on this before I hand it back to Cristiano. We are committed for global future. This platform and all of the efforts that we have put in, believe me, it was not simple. It was not simple at all. I'm sure for many people here in this room understand when you create new products, you're gonna go through massive headaches to get the design you want, the architecture you want, the capability you want. But what I'm glad about is back again believing on just the basic elements of organization, people, and culture that could build amazing things. So watch for 2020 for us. We will launch this network in April. And next, hopefully to try to industrialize this platform for globalization. Again, thanks for all Qualcomm team engineering support and effort during this journey. And I'm still saying that we're still together scratching the surface. Cannot wait for the future of how we build and bridge the gap between old and new. Thank you very much. Cristiano. Thank you.
Tarek, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you both, Miki and Tarek, for coming here with us. We really, appreciate first the trust in a company like Qualcomm to build, elements of your 5G infrastructure for the virtualized RAN. And we admire the pioneer spirit of Rakuten, driving a completely new architecture 5G. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And I think that's, as we think about it, the expansion of 5G, and hopefully what we wanted to bring to you today and the folks that are, following us with the live stream is basically tell you what's happening with 5G across, all elements from the experience, devices, network, and also some of the technology roadmap. But 5G, as we said in the very beginning of the presentation today, is just as the beginning. And where we are right now is continue to drive the evolution. In addition of all the technologies we'll commercialize with our partners in 2020, there's a long roadmap of features and technology as we move from the release 15 to release 16 and 17 of this global technology standard. We're going to build a lot of new capabilities, such as ultra-low latency for mission-critical industrial IoT applications, advanced automotive use cases, and then a lot of expanded, use cases as we think about the uses of 5G in many other industries. So one other thing that we're announcing today is for all of the new use cases that you will see in release 16 and 17, which are upcoming 5G innovations, we'll have a new suite of demonstrations for you of those use cases, make use of technology within our prototypes, from indoor precise positioning, which is very relevant for industrial, to connecting vehicles to other vehicles, to pedestrian, and to the infrastructure with 5G in the factory of the future, to name a few. All of this will be available in our media center, so please check our media center for more details. You'll be able to see all of those videos. Think about the experience that we'll have for you in our booth in Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. We're gonna have that experience with immersive videos on showing all of the demos and everything we have prepared because the industry is moving forward. And as we get to the end of the presentation, we want to take time talking about how excited we are about the evolution of 5G and Wi-Fi together as we transition to Wi-Fi 6. Cellular and Wi-Fi are here to stay. And it's about thinking how to have those technologies that are going to be part of the future of the internet. The decision's been already being made a long time ago. The last mile access of the internet is wireless. And we are basically continue to invest in how to make Wi-Fi better and how to make Wi-Fi also an integral part of many of the use cases side by side with 5G. And for the power combination, we're spending a lot of time building end-to-end experiences as we transition as an industry to Wi-Fi 6, there are now over 200 designs of access points with Qualcomm networking technology. And that actually what gave us the network heritage to build 5G cells as easy as Wi-Fi access point as described by Rakuten. And we're now connecting that with over 70 designs of Wi-Fi 6 in our Snapdragon 865 platform. There's a new technology called Fast Connect, and that is driving significant performance enhancements. And with that, we're making an announcement today that we're actually bringing 6 gigahertz to Wi-Fi. With Wi-Fi 6E, we're driving the evolution of Wi-Fi to 6E, adding 1.2 gigahertz of additional spectrum for increased Wi-Fi performance with 106 megahertz wide channel, and another testimony of our radio and connectivity leadership pushing the envelope further with Wi-Fi. And we're very happy to announce that today. Also check in our media center, you see the video, how Wi-Fi 6E will perform. So with that, we get the end of our presentation. This is a summary of everything we announced today across 5G, from the network, all the way to the technology roadmap and the device ecosystem and experiences, how we continue to build, on the iOS connected PC, how we expand into the 5G, infrastructure by building semiconductor solutions and processors for the RAN, and how we continue to evolve all radio technologies such as Wi-Fi 6 together. Thank you very much for being here with us today. This is a story about empowering a global ecosystem. It's about combining the passion for innovation and the R&D dollars of many companies. Like I said, it's not about one company being the leader and responsible for everything. It's about the ecosystem that's really winning in 5G through collaboration. Thank you very much for attending, and you will see Qualcomm everywhere you see 5G. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you.